Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture what we are going to do is that we are finally going to build the final file which we need, and that file is going to be main.py. So let me just quickly go ahead and create the Python file, and let's name this thing as main.py. Okay, so once you have this file with you, the next thing which we need to do is that we need to import a bunch of stuff, because this is going to be the final file, because this thing is going to be the final file which is actually going to contain the entire code which is going to run the crawler. So the first thing which we need to make sure is that we need to import threading, because this program is going to be multi-threaded. So we type import threading, and once this thing is imported, the next thing which we do is that we import queue. So we type from queue import queue. Then we also need to import the spider. So we type from spider import spider. Then after this, you also need to import all the functions or methods which you have created in the domain as well as the demo Python file. So you type from, let's say domain import star, and from demo import star as well. So once this thing is done, the next thing which you need to do is that you actually need to specify a few parameters. So the first parameter which you want to specify is the actual project name. So you could type in project underscore name. So the project name is going to be, let's say, the site. And now the next thing which you need to do is that you need to mention the home page, and that is going to be the actual URL. So let's type in home page over here, and what I have done here is that I've taken a sample website, and what you could do is that you could take a website of your choice as well, but I'm going to take mine and I'm going to place it over here. But make sure that you have a permission to crawl that particular website, because many websites do not permit you to crawl them. So make sure that you have appropriate permissions, or else you could actually search for crawlable sites on the internet. And if you actually go ahead and crawl one site multiple number of times, so that site might also block your IP. So not necessarily this thing is going to work in your case. So experiment with different sites and see what the output is. So the next thing which you need to do is that you also need to set up the domain name. So you type in domain underscore name equals, and that is going to be get domain name, which is the function which we have created, and it's actually going to get the domain name from the home page. So in this domain name variable, the actual domain name, which is this, is going to be stored. So we don't have anything else over there. And then finally what you need to do is that you also need to have the queue file and the crawled files. So we type in queue ue underscore file, and that is going to be equal to the project name, then give a plus sign, and that's going to be actually slash queue, that is queue.txt, and same is the case with the crawled file. So you type in crawled underscore file, that is going to be equal to project name plus, and this is going to be slash crawled.txt. Okay, so once you have these two files set up, the next thing which we need to do is that you need to define number of threads. Now the choice of number of threads might be actually different, but what I would recommend is that 8 threads are sufficient enough to crawl a simple web page. So you simply need to type in number of threads. So let's say the number of threads are 8. And then finally what we need to do is that we need to create the queue. So you type in queue ue equals queue, and then finally you actually need to create the spider, and you need to pass in the project name, the home page, and the domain name to it. So you type in spider, and that is going to be project name comma home page comma domain name. Okay, so once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. Now the only thing which remains is that we need to create a few more functions in here to basically crawl the web page, in a multi-threaded fashion. So we are going to do that in the upcoming lecture. So in this lecture, what we did is that we simply initialize a few things which we need to initialize. So we have initialized the project name, that is nothing but the folder name. Then we initialize the home page, that is nothing but which page do we want to crawl. Then we have basically extracted the domain name from the home page by typing this line of code here. Then finally we have set the paths for the queue file and the crawl file. Then we have specified the number of threads to be 8, and we have also defined a queue over here, and actually this should be a queue set, so make sure that you do that. And then finally we have passed in all these things or all these variables to the spider. So in the next lecture we will actually add a few more functions which are actually going to crawl the entire web page. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.